Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode. This is episode number 202. I'm your host, 65 Lokes, and I'm here joined by my guest, Juan Amezcua, Chevy Man, 1968. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode.
Thanks for
How you
having me
doing, Juan?
here. Good and yourself. Thanks for having me on.
Man, I feel like it's been a while since the last time I saw you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Damn, that's crazy. But I mean, I'm happy to have you here as a guest. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I definitely have been paying attention to a lot of the things you've been doing out in the scene. I mean, for a lot of those that are watching this right now or tuning in, Juan Amezcua, not only does he build, plastic scale model cars in 124, 125th scale, but he also builds 164 scale Hot Wheel size cars. But he's mostly known for his paint jobs in the 164 scale, bringing, patterns and just a collective of like pearls and candies into such a small scale. And a lot of people, try to wrap their brains around, man, how does he do it? But then not only that, I mean, customization. That's also another key thing that Juan started to add just to keep pushing that envelope and keep pushing his skills. Um, how's uh how's that been, Juan? I mean, I still remember kind of like those first 164 scales when you started diving in up to now.
Yeah.
How's that journey been for you?
Yeah, I've been actually customizing Hot Wheels for the past, I think I already been doing them for 5, 6 years. Don't seem like it's been that long, but it's been a journey, but been a learning experience for me. I've learned a lot of techniques and just researching, just trial and error on projects that I'm pretty much the ones that I open up and cut the doors and hinge and all that. That's pretty much trial and error. And I'm even surprised myself that I'm able to do the hinges on like Pink Lady. That was like I said to myself, if I could hinge the doors on that, I will be able to finish it. But luckily, I was able to. I did figure it out, and the hinges are really small compared to a 124 and 125 scale, and it's just like people tell me, "How did you make the hinges?" I just trial and error. I went through so many different tubings and wiring till I found the right size and that worked for it, and I've been using that since then.
Yeah, dude, it's a trip because I still remember, being with you at over there at Armando's house, like in the workspace, and everybody kind of just working on their own project, and eventually, everybody takes a break and kind of checks up on like what do you got going on.
Yeah.
And I still remember you showing me like the hinging on the Pink Lady, and underneath it,
Mhm.
just seeing like the wire like so small and tiny, just like dang, and then the little tubing, and just being like, dang, how do you even do that?
Yeah, that was pretty much the challenge on that one because the if you really if you've seen it and the tubing is so small and the wire that I use is so small just to even bend it to the right bends to be functioning and all that. It did take me a couple of trials until I finally figured it out and was able to do it the correct way and they close fine and everything and now I know how to do it. So that's why now I'm challenging myself to do something even more radical that I've been working on for 2 years. So we'll see how that one comes along. That one's almost ready for paint.
Man, and like, when was it when you had that interest, like spark that Hot Wheels kind of caught your eye, where you wanted to take what you were doing in the 124, 125th scale down to a 164 scale?
Well, to be honest with you, I really never thought about doing Hot Wheels, but what got me into it is my friend Hugo. He customizes Hot Wheels and he paints and all that. And one day he brought me a Riviera 132 scale to do a paint job for him. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he just let me do whatever I wanted. And it took me about a month or two to do that paint job. And after that, since that was a 132 scale, I said, let me try to do the same paint job on a 164 scale. And once I did the second one, it's pretty much the same paint job on from 132 to 164, and then that pretty much kind of hooked me on doing Hot Wheels. And actually, here's that particular Rivi. This is the first one that I painted. It's pretty much simple. Well, compared to, you'll see the difference between when I started on this paint job to all the other ones that I've done in. the past 4 or 5 years. And let me get the second one I did. It's right behind me in my case back here. So give me 1 second. So here's the 164 scale one. Pretty much the same paint job. Here's that one, and here's the bigger one. So I pretty much challenged myself to do the same paint job from a 132, doing it a 164. And like I said, once I did these, I pretty much got hooked on doing Hot Wheels. And these particular ones, Superfly magazine, Tony from England or Europe, they had a contest for Hot Wheels for customizing, and I entered them both, and I actually did place on the top 5 with that one. So I pretty much got hooked after that.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, seeing just those 2 cars right there, what kind of a paint of choice are you using on those? Did you use on those 2 cars?
These two, I used House of Colors paint, and I did use Tropical Glitz. Once I got more into customizing, I started using their flakes, and I actually did buy some of the Tropical Glitz paints this past weekend. So I'm waiting for those to come in and try them out on some build. But mainly it's all House of Colors paints that I use.
Oh man, that's cool. I've gone to, remember that one time we met up in South Pasadena. It was like a Hot Wheels show that they did at the park. And I've been to that show more. I mean, not lately, but I would say like the last couple months I've gone back just to kind of like check it out because it's not too far from the house.
Yeah.
And from conversating with people that you meet from here and there at these shows, I mean, they're all car fans. And a lot of these guys are obviously collectors, but then there are some that they want to customize, but I feel like they kind of have like this fear of like messing up, and I don't know, have you encountered that? Like, have there been like people that are, wanting to customize, but then they're kind of hesitant or a little intimidated from doing that they kind of reach out to you for like advice or questions?
Yeah, pretty much when I go to there's a play day, Hot Wheels play day that they have once a month, every third Wednesday of the month in Bellflower. Every time I go there, there's people that recognize me or recognize my cars and all that, and they start asking me how to do the paint jobs, what I use, and all that. And it's pretty much down, just take your time, just practice. I just trial and error, and I just tell them how I cut my own tapes or my tape lines and all that. And I'll give them pointers. But I also, what I have done in the past, I have friends that live in Bakersfield. They've had some little get-togethers, so I actually flaked like maybe 7 cars, and I took them over there, and I took all my paints, and we just had a paint day over there in Bakersfield. That was a lot of fun. So they do that at least during the summertime. They do it like maybe twice a month. I mean, not twice a month, but twice a year. So I go over to Bakersfield and hang out with the guys and paint and show them tips, and they show me what they've done and what they learned. And it kind of feels like when you took that class in up north, when you went with Luis to learn how to paint those panels with Danny D. It's kind of the way I felt when I was going to Bakersfield and showing the guys how to paint and what paints and all that, and felt good.
Man, that's pretty dope. Yeah, except I remember you posting, that you would be out there in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of cool to see that, like you guys collectively like hanging out, to do this, because there's only so much you can do, right? Telling someone with pictures or over the phone, or even just, you recording your own video compared to being there in person. And
yeah, it's nothing compared to do it in face to face or seeing in person. I'm a type of person that I need to see it in front of me. I can't by online or anything like that. I need to see it in person to really see what it is or what it takes. But I also did one, but it was just me and a friend of mine. His name is Tony. He goes by Godworks on Instagram. I went to his house and we painted. Pretty much spent the whole day just painting. I showed him how to paint. We painted a Hot Wheel for him, and I'm actually painting an El Camino 124 scale that I need to finish for him. But he's come a long way. He's gotten good at paint wise. He's getting there. but with his hydros and all that, he's really in progress on that. But I went to his house, and I'm always willing to, if somebody wants to get together anywhere, I'll go anywhere to teach it or show the techniques and how to paint and all that.
Yeah, man, that's a pretty hard name. Godworks. Dang. That's
He's a
pretty
cool
tight.
guy. He's very talented.
Yeah, yeah. That's looking dope. It's crazy because I've seen your model cars, and lately, I mean, you've been just killing it and pushing it with the 164 scale. And for a moment, I almost thought, oh man, that's it. Like it's a wrap. But like Juan is like no longer gonna build model cars. He's just gonna stick to the Hot Wheels, which is fine. I mean, either way, we're rooting for you.
Yeah,
We
I
also
appreciate it.
relate. We love cars. But then again, you out of nowhere, you hit us off with the 1965 Riviera, a 120
That
scale.
one, I wasn't letting nobody know what I was doing with that one, the paint job wise, because I want it's something that I think nobody's really done in the car model style paint jobs. So that one took me a while, but I really loved the way it came out. And I'll show you guys right real quick. I don't know if you guys. Like I pretty much haven't really showed it that much, but I like it. I love how it came out. And on this one, I got the idea from Basters from Japan. He painted a Rivi with the same style that's on the roof and on the all that. And I just love the way it came out, something different from what anybody was doing on paint jobs. And can't go wrong with the wheels on that. Gotta have the right wheels. Which was what's his name? From scale car model parts.
Yeah, it's a Gavin,
Gavin, yeah.
lowrider model car parts,
Yes.
based out in Japan, right?
Mhm.
I don't want to say anything just because I don't want to take the screen away from
Yeah.
the car.
But this one, I love the way it came out, and when I showed it to Armando before it was done, he was just like shocked, like, "Whoa, send me pictures." But I really didn't want to post any pictures or show anybody until it was completely done and all that. But I ended up just showing him, "Hey, look what I'm doing," and I sent him a couple pictures, and he just tripped out.
Man, so tell us about that process, like on that car. Like for people that see it, they see the final product, but just kind of a glimpse as like to, the as far as paint from like beginning to the end part.
Well, I flaked the whole car with tropical glitz flake, and then the way I did the patterns, I looked at Basters. He had pictures of how he did that Rivi. So I pretty much did the same process that he did, which was he laid his panels with his tape, and then he put a transparent tape over the whole panel, and he just drew the design that he was gonna do. And then once he started getting ready to paint, he just pretty much trimmed the lines. He trimmed the lines of the pattern out, like in different spots every time. He'll cut out, say on the top, he'll spray a light coat, and then he'll move around everywhere on the hood. So by the time you're done, you have some pan or some of the panels that had light colors and some that were darker because of the overspray. Now that one I only used teal and oriental on the Rivi.
Man, the Oriental blue is like a classic color right there.
I love those two colors. Oriental and teal are my favorite colors.
Yeah, it almost seems like with the Oriental blue, like no matter how you spray it, it's gonna always look kind of somewhat different based on like the layers
Yeah,
put on there.
but I love how the outcome of that paint job, and that's one of my favorite ones that I've done in a long time.
Man, and as far as the clear coat, is that the how's the color? The show clear?
Yes, the show clear. And that's the one that you and Armando introduced me to, and ever since then, that's all I use. Because I've used other clears from different brands, and they just react on me. Sometimes I wouldn't do a color sand and re-clear it again. I wouldn't do it because I've experienced where it blistered on me. So, but with this one, it's perfect. I really, even on my hobbies, I do on some of them, if I can, I'll do a color sand and then re-clear it a second time.
Man, that's crazy. I just also want to point out, like, for the listeners that are listening to this podcast episode right now, we are broadcasting it live. So this video will be available on YouTube as well. The link will be on the description because Juan's showing us his cars. So for those that are wondering, because I know a lot of people listen to it on like Spotify or Apple podcasts, but they can't see, obviously a visual. They got to imagine it. But if you're wondering, I just wanted to like point that out there as well. But man, Juan, I mean, good job, man. You're killing it. I mean, that Rivi, the first time I saw it was at the SoCal Open,
Okay.
out here in Southern California. Was that when you busted out with that?
No, I busted one out. Think the previous year. I really haven't showed it that much because when SoCal, I didn't think it the previous year. I can't remember when I busted out with that one. At what show?
Because yeah, when I saw that at that show, I was like, dude, I was like, that's my pick right there, for the Skill Riders Award. Yeah. I was like, no doubt. I mean, there was a lot of dope cars that were there, but I had never seen anything like that, there. And I just love the way a lot of areas in the car is like really smooth and like shaved.
Mm-hmm.
The paint job, like you said, the wheels, everything just came together really nicely and well executed.
Yeah, when people saw that, it's like they were asking me, "How did you do that paint job?" Even Emilio from Down to Scale, he saw that and he said, "How did you do that?" And I don't remember if I told him or not, but he was just tripping out because he's never seen anything like that, and nobody's ever seen anything like that done in a car model. So I always like to do something different, try something new, something different techniques, and I'm always looking at old hot rod magazines or the old lowrider magazines that I have at pretty much a lot of the vintage lowrider magazines, or I'm always looking online for reference on paint jobs and just also try different techniques. I have some friends that paint Mongo 88. He showed me a technique to do there's an old school technique that they do like a torch where there's just black smoke coming out and they put it on the body and then they just shoot candy over that, and it's just nice. So he showed me how to do it on for car models, and I tried it out and it worked perfect.
Man, that's cool. I mean, because you're based out in the valley, and I mean,
Yeah.
growing up out there, you must have seen a lot of different cars,
Oh yeah.
custom cars, lowriders, and everything, just being very exposed to the car scene. And even from them to now, in this day, you still get to see all this stuff. Is that one of your biggest influences, coming from like the area where you're at, like being able to see and have this access of seeing all this stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, I grew up in the '80s and seeing all the cruising in San Fernando and seeing quinceañeras they have all the lowriders all decked up with their flowers and all that and hopping and all that. And one of our neighbors, when we lived in Pacoima, their family was one of their sisters had a boyfriend that had he had a T-Bird blue one. It was really nice, all just pretty much like the Rivi, those tones, and it was just nice. They would go over there and see them. And I remember also in high school, across the street from the high school I went to, which is San Fernando, somebody had a '76 Regal candy apple red, and when I saw that, like, oh, that's like it's clean. But also just all the lowrider scenes, going to car shows. My dad took us to a lot of car shows when we were kids. We went to the '79 Super Show at the convention center when we were kids, and we have pictures. I have a few pictures from that show put away from my collection and all that. But definitely the Valley, there were a lot of nice cars that were being built and painted. I remember a lot of cars, seeing them in the Lowrider magazine that were from the Valley, and it's just amazing what I got influenced by all those cars.
Yeah, man, that's a trip. And one of the creations for 1/64 scale that you've been making a lot of noise with is the Pink Lady.
Yes.
How was like this first encounter for you, coming across the Pink Lady? Did you see it in a magazine, or was this something you saw at a show back in the day?
This one I've never seen in person. I've only seen it in the Lowrider magazine. It came out in the Lowrider of the Month back in, I think it's 82 issue of uh, February, and that's the first time I ever seen it. I've never seen it in person and all that. And pretty much that's what influenced me to what influenced me to build the Pink Lady was for the Hot Wheels convention that they have every year in the Marriott Hotel at LAX. When you first compete in those contests, you're an amateur, and once you place first place in the amateur categories, you're automatically put into the pros. So now you're going against the heavy hitters with the crazy builds and all that. So that's pretty much what influenced me to build something radical or something crazy. And I pretty much challenged myself doing Pink Lady. From the time I started it to the time I finished it, it took me about 4 years to do. But after all that work that I did to it, and to me, it was all worth it with all the publicity and all the noise and everything, how people just loved the car. And people even tell me, how in the hell did you do that paint job? And people even tell me with all the other Hot Wheels that I painted, to tell me, how did I do the paint job? And I pretty much tell them, to be honest with you guys, I tell them, I think my mind thinks that I'm doing a 124 scale. And I think that's the only reason I'm able to do some of these paint jobs, because some of these tape lines that I use on these cars is like thin as thread. And to do it on a 164 scale is just mind-blowing. But here's Pink Lady. It has working wing doors. It's all flaked out, pretty much just like the real car. And pretty much the paint job is pretty much exactly like the real one. There's just some minor little things that I did not do on the paint job. Like I did not put the mural on it. And the only reason I did not put the mural on the car is for Hot Wheels, for the competitions. I didn't want them to disqualify the car for putting the mural. Even though there was no nudity, I just did not want to chance it. After putting so many years into building it, I just did not want a chance of them saying, oh, sorry, you can't enter it. So made it PG. Like I said, the doors open and close. And also did not put no headlights or no tail lights on it. Nobody really noticed unless I tell them there's no headlights or tail lights. And the only reason I did not put the headlights and tail lights is because it would take away from the paint job, the lines of the body. So that's why I did not decided not to put any headlights or tail lights on it. But it was a fun build, challenging build, and I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I challenged myself to do this one. And I am working on another radical car, which I have posted a few pictures of it. And that one's actually going to be Local 64. And so once I finish that one, since you have the 124 scale, we'll take side by
We'll have
side.
to get together. Yeah. Damn,
Yeah, that
that's
one.
dope, man. Do you
Yeah,
do you have the mock-up of it, of the 164 with you there, or
I was looking for it earlier. I can't remember where I put it at.
in the lab table right now?
Yeah, in the Mad Lab table. But there
Right.
are pictures of it on my Instagram. You can always go on my Instagram and it's there. Pretty much the process of the build that I have so far on that one. And that one is about almost ready for paint. I just gotta hinge the front end to it, and then it'll be ready for paint. And that one, I'm actually going to put an LS motor in that one. So that one's going to be, that one I've been working on that one for about going on 3 years. Hopefully I'll have it done soon.
Man, it's a trip how fast like time goes, you know? Like it sounds like forever. Like when you say 3 years, 4 years, I'm like, man. But you know what? Sometimes you do need that time though for a build,
Yeah.
to come out, well executed, that you're satisfied with the way it's gonna come out.
Yeah, because I see I've had it rushed other cars, and it's just I end up having to throw it in the stripper and start over. So I'd rather just take my time. If I'm in that mood to work on that car, I'll work on that. If not, I won't touch it, because then I end up messing something up that I have to start over or something. So I don't touch them unless I'm in that mood to work on that particular car. But here's another one that I did It's a little bigger. It's a 132 scale. It's just a simple paint job, just pink with lace patterns on the roof. The roof is flaked. And it's a 132 scale. Something simple, nothing complicated or nothing. Something. But like I said, I really enjoy doing the 164 scales, and I do also enjoy doing the car models. It's just that right now my mind is just set on the Hot Wheels.
Yeah, is there ever like times when you go to a show or even like an estate sale and you come across, diecast cars that are, maybe a rare body, and you look at it and obviously it's worn out, paint jobs, it's all gone, right? But do you ever have this idea of just, buying it to collect it, but then again being like, I'm gonna give this car a second life, I'm gonna give it like a brand new custom paint job?
Yes, I have done some also like that. I pretty much would get a beat up car at the swap meets, get them for like 50 cents, 25 cents, and then just pretty much um, drill them out, tap them out, and put them in the stripper, clean them up, and just give a fresh new paint job on them and wheels. And actually, for this year's coming up convention, I'm gonna be taking nothing but new stuff. All my cars that I've done, whether they won or not, they're all gonna be pretty much retired. I'm just gonna bring all new stuff. But I'm gonna be doing cars that are old, that were done, that were built or were made back in the 70s. They're not red lines, so they're not gonna be those expensive $300, $800 or more red lines. They're just gonna be basic old cars. I'm just gonna bring them back to life, give them a new life, new paint jobs, and all that. There's that one, and I have this little Pinto, Poison Pinto, they call it. Has a big blower motor in it, but I'll be doing this one. Like I said, I'll be taking nothing but old stuff, old castings that nobody's doing. Everybody's doing whatever's out popular is what people take to the conventions. But this year, so you know what? I'm just going to take nothing but old stuff where people could really stand out from everybody else's.
And as far as like customizing, do you tend to use like a lot of styrene to add, or is it more like glue or putty to shape up a model?
Like
or 164?
Pink Lady, pretty much it's all plastic and styrene. Styrene and glue only. I didn't use nothing else but that. And then it's whatever works. And that seems to be work for me to do custom modify on the bodies. I do want to try putty and see if that works faster or easier. But right now I've been just doing the styrene and glue. And like the glue, it hardens like a rock. You can't even break it or anything. So that works good.
Nice. Man, I'm checking I had some questions from people on the chat. But let me check something though as we're recording this, because I think, I don't know, Luis just texted me. He's like tuned in right now. But I think he was trying to tell me that it might have disconnected. But let me check it real quick. I'm pretty sure I could just like refresh it right here. Let's see here. But yeah, I'll bring up the questions on here. Here, let me hit this thing again.
Hey, thanks, Armando.
Oh, did you see? Are you able to see from the chat?
Okay. I'm looking at the chat.
All right, dope. I wonder if it's my internet. I don't know. We'll get it going right now.
What's up, Hank? Yeah, the 64, the local 64 is gonna be a nice one when it's done. Should be another eye catcher.
Geo. All right, here we go, man. I don't know why.
Yeah, the 64, the local right 64 is gonna be a nice one when it's done.
All right, so let's see here. Let's get back into it right here. Got to just minimize the screen real quick. All right, here we go. All right, guys, sorry about that. But so Juan, someone had asked on the chat, they wanted to know if you ever do like the slot cars.
No, I haven't got into that era yet, or that scale or slot cars. I do have a few that I've found at the swap meets or estate sales that I got to, but they're just trophy. They're just put on the shelf just to admire.
So like the 132, like what brand are those? The 132 scale ones that you get?
I think they're Jada. I'm not really familiar with the brand, but there are some that are made by Hot Wheels in the 132 scale. I think the two that I show you, the Rivi and the pink 57, both of those are Hot Wheels. But I know there are other companies that make 132 scale or bigger.
Nice. Yeah, because it's a trip, man. Like I do come across like the 132, and then like there's even like some 143.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you start seeing everything, and then it's not until you see a photo of them all combined together that you start to really see the sizes, and it's like what the heck? Like when I started seeing like 143 diecast, like some of the tarmac works,
Yeah.
the little Porsches, I was kind of tripped out on those. I was like, man, like I would want to buy them, but then it's almost like I don't really have anything in that scale, and I don't know if I want to dive into that scale. Like, where am I gonna put all this stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like the one good thing about the 164 scale, they don't take up that much space compared to the 124, 125 scale. I have my closets just full of 124, 125 scale models, and I have a in my restroom. I have a cover that's pretty much all my the 164 scales are stashed up there. So it's a big difference in the space that they take.
Yeah, behind you, I mean, you have a case there. Are those your builds that are kind of just done, or is that more like a collector's case?
This some of my customs that I've done. Let's see. Can you see them right there?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Keep talking to focus
Yeah,
on.
some of these are old ones that I've done in the past since I pretty much started doing the Hot Wheels, and some of them are just stock ones, like that gray Merc is stock. I have all those three fleet lines that I've done. Two of those fleet lines are replicas of real ones, and then I have this Cadillac that I did last year with the matching truck and matching trailer. Can you see that one? I don't know if you can see that one.
Yeah, I see it right here. That looks
Okay,
pretty
there it
sweet.
goes. Yeah, that one I actually got best paint last year at the Hot Wheels convention with the Cadillac. And over here on the opposite side, I have a few more. Some of them are friends that gave me some of their customs. And then I had like 465s that I've done. There's Fantasia and Summer Madness on each corner. And the two in the middle are just something I just painted. Then I have that 59 that I did. That was one of my first ones that's the one that won me first place at the Hot Wheels convention that put me into pro the following year. And then I also love doing these gassers. These gassers are fun to do. This one's actually inspired by Bill Carter's one of his paint jobs. And I'm actually going to be probably doing like 3 more of those type of gassers in this year. But I'm into a lot of stuff. I'm not just into Hot Wheels or car models. I'm into all kinds of hobbies and collectibles. So I keep myself busy, my mind busy for one. Be just keep busy.
Yeah, because even like aside from the building, it's also you have that creative side of like photography as well.
Yes.
That's also like a big one. I feel like it's like a big thing of what you do. Because I mean, when we met, you always had a camera. I always remember you always having a camera with you, shooting film and just kind of documenting things. And then I remember like later in the years, you'd like bust out with like the actual photos and just give them to friends. Like, hey, here I took a picture of you like a year ago
Yeah.
or so. So that's
Yeah.
always pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always been into photography. I've started doing photography in the early '90s, and then I kind of stopped doing film once digital took over for a while. I pretty much just stopped shooting film. But in the past 6 years, I think I've got back into shooting film, and I prefer shooting film over digital.
Yeah, no, the photos look super dope, man. Like, they look very warm once everything's all like, displayed on there and you get them all developed up. So that's
Yeah.
pretty
So I
dope.
actually dropped off a roll of film today after work to get developed from Moon Knight's show this past weekend. So hopefully I'll get
Dang.
those tomorrow. I'll get the scans tomorrow, and the actual prints I'll probably get them maybe Monday.
Yeah, so that Moon Knight show, was that on Saturday or Sunday?
It was Saturday.
How was it?
It was good. It was packed. A lot of people, a lot of cars, and I ran into a lot of friends that are also into photography, and just a lot of friends that live here in the valley were there. It's always a good show. What I enjoy the most is seeing the drag races they have there at the show. Those are always fun to see, and just to hear the actual motors of those cars is just amazing.
No, yeah. Did you take any of your bills with you to like showcase to any of your friends?
No, because I was gonna be busy taking pictures. I didn't want a chance of losing it or something. Because the pink lady, I carry that one in a small little case that I got from Armando, I believe, and it's so light that sometimes I think it's not even there because the case is so light. Sometimes I have to double check and open it and make sure it's still there.
Yeah, I know, right? You all feel like, oh, what the hell, where they go? That's
Hmm.
crazy. And while we're on the topic of the Pink Lady, it's been featured in some magazines. Can you tell us about the features that it's been on? Or been
Yes,
in?
it came out on the Hot Wheels newsletter. This is uh, printed from the actual people that run the Hot Wheels convention in October, and it was featured in this one. And since it got at the convention, I got first place. I mean, not first place. I got People's Choice and Best Paint. So just a small little picture of the car. But it got featured on 4 magazines. It got featured on this one, which is Hot Wheels newsletters. And then it also got featured on the scale models or fine scale modelers contest issue for 2022. And actually, I was even surprised because a lot of times they'll take pictures of so many people's cars and they don't get featured. So I was surprised that it got featured. So I was thrilled that they actually featured the pink lady on it. There's that one. And then the guys from Europe, Diecast Heroes, which is Tony and his wife. They featured it on their magazine. This one is the King of Customs issue. And this one they did a pretty good spread on the car. I don't know. They have pictures of the real car, and they have pictures of my car. And they put a few pictures of the actual build in the process. So it felt good. They got featured on that issue, and then they featured it also on their Diecast Heroes again on one of their issues, volume. What volume is this one? I think it's 7, but I could be wrong. But on this one, they actually featured on the cover on the bottom corner. So that made it more special for me. And they actually sold a poster, so I ordered the poster as well. I just gotta get it framed. But on that one, they just did one page on it. And here's the article. Pretty much the same article from the other one, but they just one page. On the other one, they did 2-page spread on it. So that felt good. Like I said, you can see a picture of it right there in the corner how when I started it, pretty much just butchered one just for the doors. And there's that picture. The first picture. This is these two. The picture on the right is the first picture they got taken. I think Jeffries took that picture at Armando's house. So that was like almost 4 years ago. So it got featured on 4 different magazines. So I'm very happy that it got so much publicity on it.
Man, that's awesome, dude. Thanks for sharing. Congratulations, man. That's a
Thank
big
you.
accomplishment to be able to do all that, especially the like the 124 scale magazine, the contest issue. I mean, I rarely ever, I don't think I've ever seen a diecast being featured. It's primarily, plastic models, but seeing your car in there, it's like, that's just opening up that avenue, more doors for,
Yeah,
for other people that customize and build 164 scale. So that's pretty awesome, man. Congrats.
definitely. Yes, I was like thrilled that they featured it on that one. Because even on the article from wherever it says something about this is a natural Hot Wheel. You're looking at a Hot Wheel. For people that see it, it's just a picture. So people that don't know, if they wouldn't put it was a Hot Wheel, people just think it's a car model. So they actually put it's a natural Hot Wheel or something like that. They put.
Yeah, damn. That's crazy. Oh, I'm gonna bring up a question for you.
Okay.
This is from the chat. This is coming from David, all the way in Spain. He wants to know if you have any plans on making a 164 scale diorama.
Actually, good question. Next month in March at the Lowrider Super Show, we're going to be doing a diorama of 3 scales, which is 110 scale for Jeffries, 124 scale for with Armando, and I'll be doing a 164 scale for Hot Wheels of the Whittier Boulevard. So that's going to be coming up in March 4th, and that's something that I'm trying to hit up any customizers that do custom Hot Wheels if they want to be a part of the diorama for the Whittier Boulevard. Just come down to the car show, and we haven't got full details on entry fee for the Hot Wheels or anything yet, but keep an eye out on that. We're going to start promoting that show soon, but that is in the works, and we are going to be working on that. And actually, let me get something. We already have the arch for Whittier Boulevard in 164 scale, and both the 124 scale and the 110 scales are already done. So will be the 164 scale for Whittier Boulevard at the Lowrider Super Show in March 4th.
Damn, that's dope. So like, for those that are out there, your customizer or, builder, and this is a good opportunity for you if you want to showcase your cars on here. Is there anything specific one that like you would recommend someone, let's say if someone has the time now to get started on something and have it ready by then? Are you primarily looking for like lowriders or like custom cars?
Pretty much anything to me, I think, for the 164 at least, since you could do so much variety, anything that you'll see cruising on the boulevard, hot rods, mini trucks, customs, lowriders, long as it doesn't look too far out, like fantasy, nothing too wild, but as long as it's something clean and reasonable that it could something that could be cruising on the boulevard, I think will be good. If anybody remember seeing the Whittier Boulevard we did at the Cadillac Fest, so that was a big hit. So I really want the 164 scale, the guys customizers to really come out and show your customs, and just to blow all these people's minds and see what can be done on 164 scales. It's just completely different world from 124 and 164 scale. The customizers are completely different, and it's just amazing what they do on these customizers for the 164 scale. So just come out if you can and show your work.
Yeah, because I mean, man, I could already imagine like the three different scales, back to back, like separated in their own scales, but just being able to start from one end and go on to the next. But then I could already visualize a lot of people photographing like crazy, the displays, but also getting close into the cars as well.
Definitely. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just to seeing what people come out with, just seeing what how creative they could be with their pictures and all that. And you could get really creative with pictures, but if you have the right lens.
Yeah, man. And then Jerry's is gonna be doing the pretty much like the RC cars over 1/10 scale.
Yeah, 1/10 the RC lowriders. So
Dang,
that's gonna be amazing.
shout outs
Just
to him. That's
yeah,
crazy, man. Dang, then you're gonna probably need a lot of tables for that because those are pretty big.
yeah. I think we're getting a big space. I just can't remember the size of the tables that we're getting. But this one right here that I'm gonna show you guys, this one was inspired by Double Trouble, the '57 convertible that CNL Chino and his crew painted, and the guy I think it's done three. It's gotten 3 years lowrider of the year. But this paint job was inspired by that car. And this one took me like pretty much like a weekend to do. I was in that right state of mind that I finished the paint job on a weekend. And actually, this one I finished in Bakersfield. The guys had called me up and they wanted to get together to do a paint session. So yeah, I'll go. And I took this one. I pretty much finished the paint job over there. So that was amazing. I was in that right state of mind, and I like how it came out. A lot of people like this one as well when I showed it at the convention.
Yeah, dude, that one's super dope, man. You were having a good day that day.
Yeah, that was a perfect day.
Nah, that's super dope. Let me see here. I wanted to plug in before we forget
Mhm.
an upcoming model show. So this is going to be the Model Fest 2023. That's going to be taking place February 26, 2023 at the Seaside Park / Ventura County Fairgrounds. The address is 10 West Harbor Boulevard, Ventura, California, 93001. That's like close to, my pretty much like my stomping grounds right there,
Mhm.
my area where I grew up. And so this is a model car contest / swap meet show. It's on a Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. And pretty much 124, 125th scale. There's also military. I'm pretty sure you could also bring Hot Wheels too. Didn't you bring some last time, Juan? You,
Last time we went last year, we didn't stay to compete. We were there for a couple of hours and then we headed out. But I do want to take Pink Lady there and show it there. And maybe if I have few new ones done, I'll take them there too. But mainly Pink Lady will be there. So if you want to see Pink Lady in person, I will probably be taking it to the Ventura show.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, because I feel like, these are good opportunities to bust out and bring out, 164 scale, especially for those that are wanting to break out and stuff. It's always good to bring it out to other shows and avenues because you never know. I mean, people are going to start photographing, making noise. Next thing you know, you got a whole new birth to a whole new category uh,
Yeah.
that'll be on there. I mean, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah,
But
most
yeah,
likely they'll most likely put it like in miscellaneous because it won't fit in any other categories.
yeah. True that. So we'll also be vending there at that show. Scale Riders will have its own booth set up with various things that we have from the site on there. But that'll be at the end of the month, the 26th. So hopefully, if you guys are in the area, please come down on that date. And I have a question for you, Juan.
Yeah.
So I want to know. I mean, I've seen you, cut tape from various times, but how do you get the tape that small, so thin now for a 164 scale?
Well, you had part of the doing it with that. I just put my tape, which Armando showed us all. Put the tape on the piece of glass, and you get a straight edge ruler and a blade, and just move the ruler to as thin as you want or as thick as you want the tape, and just cut. And like that works perfect. The glass.
when you cut like your tape out, you get the line, like you said, just lay out the ruler, get the razor, go, and then you bring out the line. Do you already start working that tape onto the car, or do you kind of just stick a piece of it onto something and keep cutting more lines just to have backup in case one breaks on you?
No, I pretty much once I cut the first tape, I use that one, and if it breaks, and then also because there it might not be as thick as I need it or not too thin. I might need it thinner than that, so I just put it on the side of my table just for use for future use, whether it's on that build or something else. But I always just whatever I cut, if it's not the right size, I just put it aside so I get the right size and then go with that particular tape size.
Yeah. Does that happen though often, the tape breaking at some point from bending or just moving it around on the car body?
No, luckily for me, they don't really break on me that often. Um, it might break when it's too thin, and I kind of stretch it a little too much, and it just snaps. But other than that, they mostly don't break on me.
Dang. And as far as the tape color and brand, what would you recommend out there to someone that plans on cutting tape to do some tape lines?
Well, I only use three different colors tapes. There's 3Ms in the green froggy tape or frog tape, I think they call it. The only reason I use three different colors of tapes is I'll use mainly the blue tape, the painter's tape, to do all my patterns and all that. And then I'll use the green tape to do all my back masking. And the only reason I use the green tape instead of the blue, all the whole paint process is with the green, I could see that I'm on the line that I don't want to get paint on. Okay, if I use the same blue on blue, and then I won't be able to know if I'm too far in or not far out, and I might get paint where I don't want that particular color. So I just switch off. That's the only reason I use three different colors of tapes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense right there because I've done that mistake of just using the same color,
Mm-hmm.
and then and then when you're taking off that big sheet of tape, next thing you know, you're also like pulling out more tape that you shouldn't be like pulling out.
Or you didn't cover that one section that you missed.
Yeah, that's crazy. It definitely does like happen out there. And as far as like cutting the tape, are you just using just regular razor blade or are
Just
you
uh,
using something different now?
just regular razor blades, these particular ones. Just start with a fresh one every time I start. At least I look at the tip, make sure still has a pointy tip, and if it doesn't, then I won't bother using because then I won't be able to cut that thin of a line. But then what I also do, and I don't know if a lot of people do or not, when I'm seeing my back masking, when I'm back masking a car, I'll reuse that same back masking on the whole car. I won't start with another line, another piece of tape. I use the same back masking on the whole car until it doesn't have, until it's not tacky anymore. Then I don't use it no more.
Nice. And I have a question from Ryan, based out of Hawaii. He wants to know which tape works best, 3M or Tamiya?
I always use 3M. I really have not used Tamiya that often. If I use it, it might be just to do some straight lines or that. But for back masking or anything, I pretty much just use 3M tape. Hope that answers your question, Ryan.
Man, and then earlier in the chat, Slowly Models Casey had brought up a question, and before the thing got disconnected, but he pretty
Uh-huh.
much wanted to know like if there was like a car, something that you want to build or just create that maybe you have not created yet.
Um, well, I like doing gassers. I probably will be looking up some pictures from gassers. I have several castings of gassers that I'm going to probably be doing some paint jobs. I have this Camaro that I doing a white pearl. It has a white pearl on it already, so I just gotta look for some pictures to do something crazy on this. But radical or anything like that, I am doing local 64. I'm actually gonna do a second pink lady. Because people keep asking me, is it if the one that I finished? People are asking me, is it for sale? It's like I can't sell that one, but I might do a second Pink Lady. So keep
And
an eye
the
out.
and the second one, is that one going to be for sale? Like, are you gonna auction it off?
I probably will sell the second one, and I don't know if I'll auction it off because I really don't like me or looser. I
Hmm?
don't like doing stuff like
Dang.
that.
Oh, I should have
So
won it, man. That's funny. I have another question. This is from Hank. Hank wants to know, are you using ready to spray candies or pre-mixed candies, or are you doing the mixing yourself?
For the majority, I am mixing myself, but I did just place an order with Tropical Glitz for a couple of his paints. So hopefully I'll get that paint over the weekend or next week. And I'm actually gonna probably apply it to this fleet line that I started. So I might apply one of the colors on this particular build. So I'm waiting for the paint to come in and try it off. It's already ready to spray.
Man, that's dope. When do you find your time, like during the week, when you're working on a lot of these projects? Are you doing this in the early mornings throughout the day, or this is more of a night thing for you?
Well, right now I am working in mornings now. So pretty much when I get off work is when I work on the projects. Pretty much when I get off work at 2:30, so I have plenty of time to work on something before I get too tired before I go to bed. But before I was working the swing shift, and I had time to work on my projects in the morning when I wake up. And then when I get home from work, I could stay up till midnight or past midnight to work on other stuff or work on the project before I go to bed and not have to worry about waking up early the next day. So right now I just am working. I'm only after work. After work.
Right on. And what's the next like? When's the kind of an idea of the date of like the next competition show you got coming up that you want to enter?
Well, I did wanted to go to the Toy Con in Vegas, but that's going to land on the same weekend as the Lowrider Super Show. So I'm not going to be able to go to that one. So I think after that one, I think it won't. Big show will probably won't be until maybe June up in Sacramento. That's the weekend on wheels. They have that every year, and I've gone for the past 3 years to that one. It's the drive, but I really enjoy the drive, and it's really fun. I enjoy the because they have an actual car show also.
Man, that's a trip. Does that one kind of remind you of like NNL since you're up north?
Yeah, pretty much same feeling. Like they have vendors that sell Hot Wheels and all that. They have a real car show outside and the contest and all that. So it's pretty much the same feeling, same long drive.
Man, that's a trip. What's like the most you've ever dropped at a show, like money, like purchasing like a car or a rare diecast?
Well, actually, I I tell people I'm not a collector. I really don't want to collect Hot Wheels because then they'll get out of hand. I'd rather just do custom work. So if I buy anything, I just buy whatever I think that I want to customize, and they really run me about maybe $5 to $1. I do have some red lines that I've bought in the past.
Oh, dang. Let's see. I think the sound kind of cut out right there. I'm not sure. Let me see what's going on right here. Hey Juan, it kind of cut out. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't know if
There we go. There we go. You're good. You're good. So you were saying that you had purchased some red lines, and then
yeah, I just bought them because the price was reasonable, so I bought them. I know the red lines they're expensive, and if I could get them at a decent price, I'll just collect just a few, not to get out of hand like all my car models.
yeah, I feel like last time we were like at NNL, you dropped some ends on like an OG Johan
Oh yeah,
kit. And there was this guy, he had like so many boxes and it was all just vintage, vintage, vintage. And you had seen something, I can't remember what it was, but you had asked him how much, and then he told you the price. I know for sure it was above 100.
yeah. It was
And
this Cadillac.
yeah, and then you were like thinking about it, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. And I had never spent that much on a model kit at that time.
Mhm.
For me, it was more like, 25, $30. But I was like, dang. But then after, you telling me what it was and that this was like a rare kit now, definitely I was like, oh shoot. And looking back, you definitely scored that one right there.
Yeah, well, even that at that show, some guy had the lowrider Revell Hot Wheels that he was selling for like I think like $7 each, and I didn't take that much cash. I didn't want to buy anything really, any car models. And if I would have known the guy was there with the diecast, I would have took more money. But I pretty much bought like I think like four of them from him for $7 each, which was really good because those go for about 35 or more, depending on the car.
Man,
But
let's see. I'm checking the chat right now. We got a couple more questions.
okay,
This one here, let's see. The one I see right now, right off the bat, is this is from D Block. Ty, he wants to know what's your recommended let's see, clear? I don't know if he's referring to a can or just airbrushing, but as far as like for you, like the clear, um, what do
well,
you recommend?
the clear I always, ever since you guys introduced me to it, which is House of Colors Show Clear. That one's like the best. That's the only thing I've been using lately for the past all my builds for the past year, and it's been good to me.
Nice. And then this is another question. This is coming from Ryan. He wants to know, as far as an airbrush, what is the best detail stuff that makes it so small? Detail brush. What do you use, Juan?
I use the Iwata Eclipse airbrush, that one
Oh, that
for
was
all
dope.
my paint, but I do have one that I use just for flake only, which is the one you could get at Harbor Freight for like $10. I use that one just for flake, and then I have one separately that I use just for clear only. But my workhorse is the Iwata Eclipse one.
Yeah, I still remember you had gotten a compressor. How long has it been now since you got that Iwata compressor?
I want to say probably 2 years or 3 years.
Man, dude, and then that one you has two outlets, right? For two hoses.
Yes.
You have two airbrushes connected.
Mhm.
Man, that's super cool right there. So you got like if you want to do a plate job, bust out, and then pick up a totally different project and lay out some paint on there.
Yeah, and it actually worked because when I went to Bakersfield, I had two lines. I took both of my lines. If somebody wanted to be spraying, if they didn't have a compressor, they could use the other line to shoot.
Right there. Have you started to get into like pinstriping to add any kind of pinstriping effects onto your 164 scale?
No, I haven't. I would be interesting. I wouldn't mind learning or taking a class or something to learn how to do that. But I had taken a lowrider paint class with the lowrider masters, paint masters.
Yeah, hell yeah. I saw some photos of that, dude. Tell us
Yeah,
about that.
that was
What made you want to take the plunge and take the class?
well. I just since we do the car models and Hot Wheels, I just want to learn different techniques and see what else I could learn that I could possibly bring into doing on the car models or on the Hot Wheels. And I enjoyed it. I've already taken two classes with them. One last in 2021, and then this past year in December, I took the second class, and it's with the CNL Chino from CNL Customs and Pete from Crazy's Customs. He's located in Palmdale, but the class was given in Sylmar, and I've enjoyed. I've learned some new techniques, and it's a great class. If you want to learn how to do lowrider style paint jobs or anything, I recommend take one of these classes. They do have it throughout the United States. Have it in Texas and Hawaii, and I forgot what other states. In Vegas also. I highly recommend taking the class if you want to learn how to do the lowrider style paint jobs, or just to get your hands dirty and get the feel for using the paint guns. It's a different feeling from shooting the airbrushes and shooting the paint guns. Is a completely different feel for it. But I highly recommend the classes.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I still remember going up north, taking the class with Luis, that Danny D class
Yeah.
with Armando Serrano, and that was a fun one, man. Because I mean, at that time, I had just that interest and the time to at home, so kind of do it yourself, like buy the paints and have the guns and the compressor and just kind of work on little projects here and there with the limited space. But then to be able to actually step into a real shop, you know,
Mhm.
and have bigger space, and then you have professionals that have been in the game for so long, and just sharing that information, and then finally like doing it hands on, and getting to just get that feel. It was totally a different experience, and it opens up your mind to a lot of stuff that you go, man, if you could do this in this one-to-one scale panel or a car, like imagine what I could do to a model car, or even like yourself, what you're doing with 164 scale.
Yeah, it's funny when I went to sign up the first time I took the class with Chino. I went to sign up and give my deposit, and when I went and paid off the balance on that for that class, I took a couple of my Hot Wheels that I'd done, and then his wife was there, and then he was telling me, well, look at the stuff he does, and he wants to take class. It was just it's like, yeah, I want to learn what you guys do. Once you learn from the masters.
Yeah, it's like you can't stop learning, like you gotta keep going, because even if you're like you have the experience, and you're in the field doing it,
Yeah,
uh, take the class, you're gonna pick something up for sure. Because even in that class that we were in, there was other people who were already like painters, but they were still taking it. It was almost like they just wanted to add more info and experience onto their portfolio and like arsenal,
mhm.
and everybody's gonna share like some kind of like trick and tip on there, which makes it like very interesting. And it was funny because I still remember even like Danny D telling us about the Mexican ruler. He was like, how do you find the center line, on a hood, on a roof, on whatever, any odd shaped thing? How do
Yeah,
you find the center line? And he had us thinking, I was like thinking like already like, oh, I'm gonna get, I'm gonna measuring tape and do all this stuff and that. And he just did it in seconds. He's like, nah, it's easy. He's just get a piece of tape, tape it from one end, and then tape the other end, and then basically just peel it off, and then bend it halfway. And he's like, that's your halfway point, and you mark it with a pencil, and that's it. He's on any object. It doesn't just have to be very symmetrical, right? And everybody was just like, holy crap, you're like everybody was like, okay, that was like, why didn't I think of that?
yeah.
But we had no idea. And then I mean there was so many other little things that kind of kick in there. But I've always thought about that. And even at work, I'll be with my dad, and he'll be like, oh, we need to measure this, and we need to figure out where's the center line or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'll be like, oh, easy. All I need is a piece of tape. And I'll lay up the tape, I'll bend the tape, I'll make sure the tape meets the other beginning
Yeah.
point, and I'm like, there it is. And even with the model cars too, that was like another thing that kicked in with that.
Hmm.
So like those classes that you were taking, you said you took one part and the second part. Is there still more parts to it, or is this just kind of
Well,
like it?
it was a 2 day class. The first day was just pretty much prepping the panels and getting them ready for paint. And the second day is when we spent all day painting, backmasking, and painting. But I just took another class just to take the second class. I just went. Well, I actually went to pick up some paint from Pete. It was giving me, and then he thought, "Oh, just hang out." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll hang out." He said, "Oh, you want to do a panel?" Sure, I'll do a panel. I wasn't planning on doing a second plan or taking being there for the whole class, but I ended up staying there, which I enjoyed it. I definitely will sign up again next year also just to take it, see what different techniques they have, or see what kind of panel we do next year.
Yeah, I like that little panel that you made for the Pink Lady.
Oh,
When you were sending me photos to use for
yeah.
the cover, I had never seen that little plate right there, and I was like, dude, that's like super dope. Can you show us that?
Yeah, I actually did two. I did this one, which is just a plain white pearl with a dust of pink. You can't really see it. But then I did this one also, pretty much some of the patterns that are on the pink lady. I did them in the something different to when I take it to shows to display it, put it on top of it and display it. So it'll be something different. So this one, I don't know what happened. The clear reacted on me on this one. It blistered a lot. So I had to sand it pretty much, and then I re-cleared it, and it's still not. You can see right there all the orange peel.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened here. That maybe somebody could tell me what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, what I would recommend is there's this man, I gotta get the name of it, but it's pretty much a cleaner. So you can always like sand it, like wet sand it really lightly because
Yeah.
you don't want to obviously burn through it. Just sand it, clean it up, wet sand it with water, and then it's like a pre-clean. And a lot of the times, people that are painting the cars, they have the pre-clean. So
Yeah.
they'll wet sand the car, clean up all the particles, and then they spray a pre-clean. And then, the pre-clean pretty much just kind of dries on its own. And you could still wipe it though. And then after that, you start painting. But in that situation, if it's like reacting like that, you could just lightly wet sand it just to get, make it nice and dull, and then hit it with the pre-clean, wipe that off, and then just go back in there and then hit it with the clear again, just bury it with clear. Because that way the clear fills in all those little pockets that are
Yeah.
in them, and it starts to, I guess you just got to kind of hit it wet the first coat, wait like 10 minutes or so, hit it again with another coat. And what I would probably recommend is once you're finally done, obviously color sand it, get it smooth, but then I can help you even like polish it with the Dremel, with the polishing pads. I think even that hitting it with the Dremel will just help it like get it really nice and smooth on there. But yeah, man, the pre-clean, I was using that for a while back then on some of the models
Yeah.
where I was a little paranoid of like reaction and just like things going on, and I had a FBS tape makes like those pump bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And they had one, I think Coast Airbrush sells it. I think they're anywhere from about like $40 to $50. And it's a chemical bottle. So you basically just fill it up with the pre-clean, and then it has a pump. So you just pump it a few times, and then you could spray it onto a rag, and then, or a cloth. And then from there, you can pretty much just, wipe that over your Hot Wheel car or your model car panel or anything, even anything bigger, a fender or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're ready to go on there.
Yeah, we did use that at the class after we painted it. We just wiped it all down, or the next day we wiped the panels down because they were sitting overnight at the shop, and I'm sure little dust particles probably landed all over it. But we did use that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty cool. I mean, a while back, my friend had he works at a body shop, and he had sold me, like, I bought it from him, like this big. It was probably like about a gallon maybe or so, and I think at that time it was like $15, and it went a long way. I don't know how much they are now, but the pre-clean definitely come in handy right there. And let's see, we have another question in the chat that I could see right here. This is from EJ. He wants to know, do you intercoat with clear between paint layers, / colors? And if yes, any clear you prefer for intercoat? So I'm thinking the question, hopefully I have it right. So what I'm getting from is, you layer color, you clear, and then you lay another color, and then you clear.
Well, I pretty much mix my paints with the SG 100. And pretty much I think a lot of people you do it that way. and that pretty much protects the paint that you just lay with the light coat. I guess it's clear. It protects the color, and that's pretty much what I use. Just the inner coat, the SG100 from House of Colors is what I use, but I mix it with my paints. So it's already there, and I don't need to have a separate container for the inner coat. It's already mixing in with the paint.
Yeah, I remember a while back watching like a video, House of Color video when with John Kosmosky, and he was talking about how you lay out your paints and then like you could spray just inner coat, right? Just pure inner coat on top of your graphics or whatever, and you could step away from it and and then you could come back maybe tomorrow or so to like continue, right? But I know he's talking about more like the one-to-one scale, um, like projects.
Yeah.
So I remember one time I had some intercoat and I dumped it in the airbrush and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna finish this model anytime soon. I'll come back a week later. So I hit it, dude, with intercoat. I freaking fogged the thing, dude. Like I just covered it up, bro, like nasty. And I was like, oh, I know I did something wrong, you know? I was very confused. But then, I went ahead and did it again. And then I just remember like, all right, from following, the steps and asking you guys questions, that's when I was just like, all right, whenever I mix like, my candies, especially, it's gonna have, I can't even remember the ratios. I have to go back, but it's gonna have the concentrate candy, the inner coat, and the reducer
Yeah.
right, mixed in. And then obviously, like the clears, it's also gonna have the reducer, the catalyst, and the clear. But I remember like always looking at stuff over and over, but then it always got to me because the tech sheets would always say that it wasn't, you couldn't use it on an airbrush, that it wasn't compatible.
Mm.
And I was like, really? And everybody was using it. I was like, man, they need to update that tech sheet, and take that off.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause that's all I use, and it's been working fine for me with the paint not peeling or anything like that. So that's pretty much how I use my inner coat.
That's cool. When's the last time you went to Coast Airbrush?
Probably about a year ago. One of my friends from Bakersfield was going down there. He hit me up if I wanted to go. Yeah, I'll go. So I met them over there, or they picked me up. I think they picked me up, and it's hard not walking out of there without spending over $200 or more. So I'm sure a lot of people experience that. Going to go to Coast Airbrush, it's like candy everywhere. It's like you want to buy everything.
Nah, hell yeah, man. I mean, it's been a long time for me. I haven't gone. It's probably like a 45-minute drive for me now. I mean, before it was longer. And it's crazy because when it was further for me, I would bust that mission. I feel like I would go out there more when I lived really far away. But now that I'm closer, I don't even like I haven't gone. I think the last thing I purchased from them was like the green tape and a box of black gloves for painting. And I still have the box. Like I haven't even run out of it. But the green tape, man, that's some dope tape right there for 3M.
Yeah.
It's really sick. And I mean, they carry a lot of stuff. I wish I was able to visit Manny out in Florida, Tropical Glitz, and see his shop out there. I mean, have you seen how he's posted like that new place that they're in now?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I want to one day I'm gonna go out there to Florida and visit and see how
Yeah,
it is.
because you gifted him one of your painted Hot Wheels.
Yeah, I painted a dairy delivery, and that one it was a fun paint job. I did that paint job is like a '90s style paint job with double flames on it, and I did it in magenta, teal, and tangerine. I can't remember the other colors, but I put like checkers on it, and I went all out with that one.
Man, that's nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool because that's definitely like a piece that they can present there and people could see. Like pretty much what you can do in any scale, not just the one-to-one.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, and that one actually I took to Japan the last time we went, and I didn't know that they had a Hot Wheels contest at the Moon Ice out there in Japan, and I took that one and a couple of other ones on my Hot Wheels. So every time we go to Japan, I always like to take a certain one and just take pictures of them in different areas and all that. But once I saw that they had a contest, I went ahead and entered it in the contest, and I got first place with that one. And that's how I got the display case behind me.
Yeah,
I got
yeah, that's tight.
first place award, so that felt good.
Man, dude, they probably got mad when they saw you. Like, what? Like, look at this fool putting his thing here.
Well, if we go next time we go to Japan, I will be taking Pink Lady to Japan.
Oh, she should. Hey, when we were there that year in Japan, did they have the contest?
I really didn't notice it if they did, because I don't remember. I
I
wouldn't.
didn't know. I didn't notice that
Probably wasn't
either.
really into the Hot Wheels scene that hard as I am now. But
Mhm.
I don't remember seeing it, noticing it last year. I mean, the first year that we went. But I did notice it this the last one we went. That's why I said I'm gonna take a couple of my new ones, and they're smaller. I don't think I carry them on in my pocket.
Yeah, I mean, there's some like modelers and like just people on Japan that I follow on through Twitter.
Yeah,
And
you're telling
and
me.
I just recently saw. I want to say I think he's like an artist, for Hero, and he was showcasing some photos. I don't know. I think they had a meet or some event because there's been a lot of 164 scale photos being posted and reposted by him, and
Yeah,
it's mostly a lot of like the lowrider stuff and like custom painting and whatnot. So I'm assuming, man, like the stuff's blowing up over there as well.
yeah. There's a guy out there. His Instagram is real something like yes for real like real, and he done some amazing Hot Wheels customized. He did Dress to Kill and a bunch of lifestyle cars, and they're just amazing the paint jobs that he does, and he's really good. And I met him when we went this last time. I met him there, and we chit chatted, or kind of chit chatted. Just hard to communicate, but just showing he'll show me his pictures and then seeing some of his actual customs that he made. Just seeing him in person, it's just mind blowing. And he actually also got first place with some of his builds.
That's crazy. Was he the dude you guys showed me some years back where he had the dress to kill and he could like take it apart,
Yeah, that one,
the
that guy.
interior, the casket, and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's crazy, man. That's awesome. You got to meet him.
Yeah.
Man, what a trip. And dude, I still have memories when we were back there in Japan. That was like what, 2017 going into like 2018, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, late 2017. That man, that was a super fun trip, man. I can never we can never get enough of the breakfast. Remember at the hotel?
Yeah, that was. But what was funny with that is like every morning we're there, we got up early enough to go eat breakfast. And the last day we were there, we woke up late and we weren't able to eat breakfast.
Yeah, I remember yeah, we were like just taking advantage, killing it every morning. Like, let's just eat. That way we're full. And that way we could just like go and explore the city and wherever we're gonna go. And then also it's like we were gonna save money, right, on buying breakfast because
Yeah.
compliments of the hotel and we could whatever buy hobby stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were saying, yeah, the last day we should get up even earlier and just like be eating like a grip. And by the time we got up and we got down there, the kitchen, everything was closed.
Yeah, the buffet was over.
Dang, that buffet was good though, man. That
Yeah,
thing,
it was.
that thing was dope. If you could go back now to Japan, let's say this year, a trip, would you be like bringing back? What would you be bringing back? Model kits? Would you be bringing back,
Probably just supplies,
supplies? Okay.
tools, and stuff like that. Because like the hobby stores, like they're like amazing, like so huge. It's like you don't even know where to look, and when you're there, it's like, oh yeah, I could have got this there, and I forgot. There's so much to see. But definitely not model kits unless it's something that really sticks out that I want. Other than that, probably just tools and supplies.
Yeah, man. Dude, you gotta make some connects with people out there, dude, for the 164 because I'm sure there's more shows, man. There
Yeah,
has
they have one besides the one that they had at the Moon Ice, and I think they had one just before the year ended. something out there that the guy from that built that Dress to Kill, he goes to that one. And there's another guy in Japan, Kasi, that he does some crazy customs. And actually, the Pink Lady actually also built that Pink Lady to go after Kasi from Japan, because every time he comes down for the Hot Wheels convention, he always kills it in that category for the build for the bug. He always gets first place. So I was actually going after him with that one, but he didn't make it this past year. He just didn't show up for whatever reason. But hopefully, I know he'll probably be coming down this year coming up. I just gotta have something ready for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dang. So you guys gonna go head to head or what at the show?
Just see what he brings into the table and see what I bring, see what the judges like, and
Dang. What if he rolls up like with his belt from the year before, like a wrestler, like, and then you have yours on, like, food, look at me, dog.
Mhm. But I still have not gotten first place for the category for the bug. I entered it, and there's three different. There's spicy, hot, and mild. I can't remember the three categories, and I haven't not gotten hot. I haven't won hot in that category for first place, so that's why I need to get a first place in that category. I thought I had a good chance this year, but apparently I didn't. But I think I got the best awards. I got best paint and people's choice. I think that felt more rewarding, especially the people's choice, because they could have voted for any of the other cars that were there, but Pink Lady got enough votes that I got people's choice.
Yeah, and in the world of 164, from what you know, is there also like crews or like like clubs?
There are a few. I don't think there are that many out here in Southern California. I really don't think there's any that I know of. Not out here. I haven't really come across any clubs out here.
Yeah, because obviously, like in 124, 125th, there's a lot of model car clubs
Yeah.
out there. So I always wondered about that, like if there was also some for like the 164, either customizers or maybe collectors.
Yeah, there are some people that like to collect customs. Because at the convention, I pretty much stayed away from the table where I laid Pink Lady. I just didn't want. I don't know. I just didn't want the attention or something. I don't know. I just put the card down. I hanged out for a little bit, and I just walked away.
Yeah. Dang. You were like, I'm out of here.
It's like enjoy and
You guys enjoy it.
blow your minds.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I always wondered, like, if there was like a crew like a 164, what would you say? Red lines, right? Those are more the expensive ones. Like,
Yeah.
like you're like, yeah, that crew right there, they only drop 900. That's it, 900 and up.
Yeah.
We
Well,
don't buy
there's some
nothing
guy
below.
I took Armando to the convention this past year. He never been there, so he went with me, and he was just amazed on how. 'Cause pretty much everybody that rents the hotel, the rooms, they pretty much sell Hot Wheels out of the rooms the whole week, starting from Tuesday to Sunday. And there's people that go there and they drop big money on those
Money,
Hot
huh?
Wheels. It's like, dang.
That's the trip. Yeah. One of my homies, HHW Customs, Hayden. I
Mm-hmm.
like he was posting, like photos and stuff like about the rooms and things like that. And that was like an insight where I started to see like, dang, like that's pretty crazy. I've always heard about it, but I had never seen it firsthand, from video or like photos. But when I started to see that through his post, I was like, dude, they're really doing it like that. That's dope.
Yeah, well, you've been to the one in Pasadena. Imagine 4 floors of nothing but Hot Wheels, and every single door, every single room is there. They have their whole room just nothing but Hot Wheels on the
Dang.
bed and on the dresser, everywhere.
That's a trip, man. When we were at NNL this year, when we got to the hotel, I brought like the model kits and everything pretty much out of the car, to bring it up to the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to kind of double check, make sure that things were properly labeled and priced or whatever, right? But I remember I had that moment where I pulled out all the model kits from the box and I laid them all on the bed. And I was just thinking, dang, like it looks crazy. Like they all fit like in the bed, right? And I was just like thinking, man, what would happen if I just did a front flip like on all those boxes, you know? But then it also reminded me of the Hot Wheels, like how you were saying, like people vending.
Yeah.
And I was telling my friend Dan, imagine if right now we just open the door and we put a sign up, like come through, you could just shop right here. And I don't know, people would be like, what the hell are these guys doing? But
Yeah.
but yeah, it kind of reminded me of that in that moment that I had right there. And
Yeah.
so like this year, Juan, I mean, March you have the lowrider show, and then further you have that other show where you want to go to that head-to-head competition
Yeah. Up in
with that
Sacramento.
dude you had mentioned about. Is there anything else that you have plans for this year?
Well, in Bellflower, every third Wednesday of the month, they have a little, they call it Play Day for Hot Wheels. And people pretty much get together. Every month they have a contest, and every month is a different theme for the contest. And people go there and sell, trade Hot Wheels, whatever. And I'll probably be doing that this year when there's no shows. Just go there. Now that I'll be working mornings, I'll be able to go. It's usually every third Wednesday of every month in Bellflower. I usually do post the flyer that they post. I usually repost it on my Instagram for anybody's interested or in the area. They can check it out. But it's every third Wednesday of the month. That's the only thing that I really have planned because sometimes the shows comes up that I don't know and then I'll just go to. But I do want to go to more car model shows. I didn't really go to that many car model shows this past year. I definitely want to try to go to more this coming year or this year.
Yeah, I mean, this year, how we had mentioned earlier, we have the Model Fest 2023 coming up, and then in February, and then in May, we also have the SoCal Open coming up on the 7th as well. And then, obviously there's going to be more coming up. Are you going to be attending the Roadster show this year?
I don't think I'll be able to go because I'll probably be going to Bakersfield this weekend. Something came up that I'll probably be in Bakersfield this weekend. I did want to go, but I don't think I'll be able to make it this year.
Yeah, are you going to be linking up with your homies out there that you guys paint with? Or?
If I have some time, I'll probably hit them up and let them know I'm in town, see if they want to just hang out or whatever, and see what they're up to. But they do over there also have the C10 meets over there, and they usually take their customs and Hot Wheels and just hang out. So if they have one this summer, I'll probably go to that. I gotta get my K5 Blazer, 72 Blazer back on the road, and I'll be able to take that over there and take it to that C10 meet.
Yeah, and who in the Hot Wheel scene is like inspiring you right now? Who do you see that's like pushing that envelope in your eyes?
Um, Pretty much the guy Kazi from Japan. He does some awesome work. Um, there's a few guys out here in the valley. There's Mark Vargas, which you did a podcast on him a while back. He was an old school guy that did the car models back in the day. He does some really good work, and mainly them two are the ones that really inspire me and push me, and they to do something different, and that's about them.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, it's been a while. I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him was out at that park in Pasadena, South Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
He was out there, and I mean, he's always cutting cars up for people and like customizing wheel swaps and all that good stuff right there. So that's always neat. I didn't know, man, that like people did that kind of stuff. But then it makes sense, like if you don't want to do it yourself, but you don't have the tools,
Yeah.
there's people out there that are willing to do it. They can do it for you really easy and make it look dope.
Yeah, because before I even learned how to do the taps on the Hot Wheels, I have him do them for me until I finally got the right tools to do it, and I just do it myself now. But I used to have him do all my drilling and tapping to put the screws back on to tying the body to the interior and all that.
Yeah, do you see him at the play days? Is he there as well?
Yeah, he's majority of the time he does go, unless he's working or he can't make it. But the majority of the time he is there.
Oh, nice, man. I need to catch up with him. It's been a while, man, since the last time I saw him.
Yeah, I think last weekend they had that thing in the Pasadena. I think it was last weekend. But they are having a show in Riverside. How it was kind of the same thing as the Pasadena thing, but in Riverside. And I might go if nothing's going on that weekend. I might just take a drive out there. It's on a Sunday. I think it's the 12th of February. I'm not sure. I gotta look at the date. I might go over there. Sunday, I could go over there just to hang out and talk to people, see my friends and all that. If I see a good deal, I buy something. If not,
Yeah, that's dope. Because you at that point you start to kind of see, right? Like a lot of your homies that you see at all these shows
yeah.
are there. Oh man, that's dope, man. And
Or
then
you
at the same time, you get to showcase some of your stuff.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
still remember that the 59 you had. Is it the South Side inspired?
Yeah. Let me grab that one real quick.
Yeah, go for it, dude. I mean, that's a classic one right there.
This was actually one of the first ones I did, like a custom paint job. And actually, this was the first one I entered into the Hot Wheels convention that got me first place for amateur. And it actually, that's what put me into going into the pro section for the following year. This is pretty much like I said, one of my compared to this paint job to the Rivi I showed you guys in the beginning. This is like what pushed me to the level that I really need to concentrate and do better paint jobs. Everybody liked the paint job when I did this one at the convention, and I got first place with that one. That one was fun to do. I actually had to retouch the roof. There was a piece on the roof that had chipped on me, so I had to go back and touch it up. And luckily, I was able to save it.
That's nice. And as far as like from your experience spraying candies, what's your recommendation as far as like spraying layers? Do you recommend like less layers so you get more of some really nice like soft tone colors?
It depends on what you're looking to do. I like to do fades and all that, but also especially if you're doing both sides, like patterns on both sides, just keep counts of the layers that you're spraying. Because if you lose track of the layers you're putting, one side's gonna be darker than the other side if you don't really pay attention until you shoot the clear, and then you'll see, oh, that side's a little bit darker than the other side. So I just recommend just count the layers that you do, or George, if you have the vision of when you spraying the car, you could see that it's in the same tone the whole car or not. Just count the layers that you're doing on the candies.
Yeah, that makes total sense, man. I learned the hard way with that. I
Yeah.
remember spraying and I have the object, I'm going one side, back, forth, back, and then I flip it around and then I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to think like, wait a minute, how many sprays did I do on one side compared to the other? And yeah, one side was totally darker than the other, and there was just no going back. Once it's set, then that's kind of it, and it's very hard to get it to match.
Yeah, that's one thing I learned at the classes I was taking with Chino and Pete is control of the gun. You got to have control of the gun to be able to lay it smooth. If you might, there were some people that were spraying way too much paint on the panels, and you could just see it's just like way too much paint. And after once you spray too much paint, you can't fix it at all.
Yeah, because it's very different you using when you spray urethane because a lot of times when you spray the paint, it's not wet. It's pretty much like a dry, like a matte finish.
Mm-hmm.
And compared to using other kind of paints where you have like a rattle can or whatever, and when you spray it, it's like wet, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have an idea of like, oh, all right, how far, how much to go. But when you're spraying a candy, since it's transparent, and you hit it once, all right, that's your first color, like tone, and then you go again, second, it's gonna now you're overlapping it, but now that tone's gonna get a little darker and a little darker, And since you're not seeing like any wetness or any kind of drip, you're assuming like, oh, I need to put more or whatever. But it's never gonna look wet until you put the clear on.
Hmm.
And then next thing you know, it's like you're getting heavy handed on it, and then it's just getting dark, like very dark. And then once you clear it, it doesn't even it looks crazy, like it's just too dark.
Hmm. Don't look like a candy no more.
Yeah, it don't, and you won't even see if you're shooting over flake. You won't
Yeah,
even see the shine on the flake. Or
true.
like, it's all covered up right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of trippy, but I remember seeing that like in the paint class, of some people being a little heavy-handed with the gun, and then I remember when it was my turn, just being a little like precautious and like paranoid and like counting the strokes, because I wanted to take home a panel that I was going to be happy with, like just to kind of put up from the
Mhm.
class. And I was thinking, dang, I better not go too dark on one side than the other, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's interesting though, man. It's like a never ending learning thing.
Yeah, like they say, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, and then if you mess up, it's all good. I mean, you learn from those mess ups. It's like you have to mess up at some point in order
Yeah,
to
like
learn.
I messed up a lot on my paint jobs, and it's like I had to start over, or put a panel just to cover up the mistakes I did or whatever.
Yeah, hey, someone in the chat has a question, Juan. Before
Mhm.
we wrap up this
Okay.
episode, he wants to know what's the name of that show out in Riverside?
Um, I can't remember at the moment, but I do have the flyer saved on my Instagram. I'll repost it so they can see which one it is. But it is coming up on, I believe it's on the 12th of February. I remember seeing the date. That one they have, I think they have it only like 2 or 3 times a year. They don't have that often compared to the play days. They have that once a month.
Nice, nice.
But I'll look up the flyer and I'll repost it on my Instagram for anybody that's interested or wants to know what's the name of it or location. They can look it up.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you guys are curious about his Instagram, it's at ChevyMan1968. Make sure you look him up on there. Hey Juan, is there any shout outs you want to give out before we wrap this episode up?
Yeah, especially mainly to you for having me on your podcast again. Really appreciate it and thank you for that. And everybody that stayed up late or whatever time zone you're in that stayed up to listen to it. And thanks for all the questions that we're able to answer. I also want to give out shout out to Diecast Heroes, to Tony and his wife, also to Tropical Glitz for to Manny for the awesome product that he has, the paints and clears and flakes, and also for RPX. He's in Texas. He actually does some awesome wheels for the Hot Wheels. So if you're into customizing Hot Wheels, if you want some nice wheels, whether it's for mini trucks or dunk cars or lowriders, look him up. It's RPX on Instagram. And then to also shout out to CNC Customs Chino and his wife, and also Crazy's Customs Pete for the amazing classes and everything that you guys done for the lowrider scene.
Awesome, man. That's cool, man. Yeah, thank you, Juan, for being on the here on the podcast episode as well. And yeah, the wheels from that you just mentioned, the RPX guy out in Texas, dude, they're dope. I do have a pair. My homie Dennis Matthews had hooked me up with a pair of his wire wheels, and dude, they look dope. Just for the scale, man, I'm blown away.
Yeah,
So
because he makes uh, Dayton style, Dunk style, Supremes, Kragers. He does some amazing work, and they look real nice on the Hot Wheels.
man, that's crazy, man. Yeah, and it's been exciting, man, just seeing your journey, seeing from what I remember from back then, jumping into the 164 scale from like even from that Southside 59 Impala all the way up to where you're at right now, the skill level that you've done, and just keep pushing it. And we're all here to witness your journey pretty much as to what lengths you want to push, your artistry pretty much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
man. and we'll stay tuned. We'll keep in touch, and I hope to see you at the next upcoming show. Hopefully Model Fest. I'll get
Yeah,
to
for
see.
sure. I'll definitely be going to that one.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Sounds good, man. Well,
Okay.
thank you, Juan.
Thank
I
you.
hope you have a good night, man, and
You too.
we'll stay in touch, man.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Peace out.
You too. Bye.
All right. Later.
Later.
Shout out to everybody too that tuned in. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Peace out. 202 episode.